This theory is guaranteed to blow your mind into a billion little pieces. It's called the egg theory, and the egg theory is an attempt at answering two of life's hardest questions. Number one being, what is the meaning of life? And number two being, where do we go when we die? This theory was originally proposed by Andy Weir, who used a similar format to Plato's Socratic dialogue, and he tells the story of a man who dies in a car accident and is later introduced to the afterlife by a godlike being. And this man, like many of us can imagine, is riddled with existential questions. One of his main ones being, what happens now? So this godlike being tries its best to answer all of his questions and guides him through the initial shock of death. And this is where it gets crazy. God explains that reincarnation is actually what happens after we die, and that deep within ourselves, each and every one of us has all the experience and all the knowledge from all of our past lives. We just can't remember them, and that's by design. He says that the soul is more beautiful, complex, and magnificent than we can ever possibly begin to fathom, and that the human mind can only contain a very small fraction of what we truly are, given the soul's infinite nature. He also explains that time as we know it is only perceived as linear because of the limited nature of our perceptive capabilities within the confines of this universe. So since we can get reincarnated to different points in time, becoming different people infinitely and simultaneously, when we interact with someone, we're technically interacting with ourselves, or at least with the fraction of our soul and consciousness that inhabits that person's body. So God then goes on to say that he invented and created the entire universe just for you, the person watching this right now, and that every person that has ever existed, every person that currently exists, and every person that will ever exist is nothing more than a fraction of your infinite soul and consciousness perpetuating itself infinitely through time and space, and that the true meaning of life is for you to grow and mature through these infinite reincarnations, and that once you have lived every human life throughout time, you will have developed and matured enough to finally be born as a god, meaning that the universe is nothing more than an egg, and your only goal is to be hatched.